All your base are belong to us.
Hello and welcome to Fake Geek Girls, a podcast looking at nerdy pop culture from both a fan and critical perspective, encouraging the things we love to do better. I'm Missy, I'm a writer, and I am rewatching things and in the middle of things. And in two cases, I'm in the middle of rewatching things. So this is a light one for me.
I'm Merri, I'm a marketer, and I'm a mother.
I'm a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And did you know that doing anything while pregnant makes it so you're going to feel like you're going to die?
Merri just told me to remove the stairs from my house, and I tried to explain to her that that would make it harder to get upstairs, but she's not feeling that explanation.
Oh, you could, like, the bare minimum, put in an elevator.
Yeah, absolutely. That is within my budget with my vet fucking bills. My fucking vet bills.
I don't see the issue here.
Yeah, my pets aren't really expensive or anything.
No, not at all. They're not as expensive as children.
It's more important
That's a joke. They are expensive as children. I realize now that some people might not get that
Some people
joke.
don't know how expensive my pets are. It's definitely better for me to add an elevator to my home for your temporary condition.
You're right. I'm glad that you agree. I'll let Josh know.
Yeah, let Josh know. We'll get right on it. I'll let you go first since
I have more.
You have more than me.
I watched Forced by My Husband. Actually, wasn't forced.
I forgot.
I watched Saw X, the new Saw movie. I've seen, I think, all the others, including Spiral, which was terrible.
Josh liked it, I think.
I did not like it. It was so weird. And if you like Saw movies, you will like this one.
I'm probably going to watch it today.
Yeah.
We're doing a Saw marathon today for reasons that are beyond comprehension.
It was fine. It was a Saw movie.
Traps were deployed.
I'm not going to say anything since you're going to watch it, but like, yeah, there are traps. There are bad people.
Do they play a game?
They play a game.
Parcheesi.
No. It was worse.
Chess?
No, it was like craps.
Oh no, not craps.
The brief non-spoilers is Mr. Sawman is there.
Jigsaw.
I could not remember his name, and I kept calling him
Hey Arnold.
I kept calling him John Kissinger.
John Kissinger.
And then I think I said John Kinsley. It's John something with a K.
I don't know.
Now forever you'll see John Kissinger.
John Kissinger. Brother
Carpenter?
to Henry. John Carpenter is a director.
That's right.
No, John Carpenter is the
composer.
No, it's the guy in Mars.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Who's Carpenter?
Hold on.
David Cronenberg. Maybe it's also John Carpenter.
I think John Carpenter is also a composer.
John Carpenter, he did the Halloween theme, and he's also the director, but I don't know if his name is John Carpenter.
John Howard Carpenter is an American film director, screenwriter, and composer.
Okay, so John Carpenter...
We're correct on all accounts.
John Carpenter...
Except for the Mars.
No, he's also from Mars, isn't
Yeah, but not the
No,
same
that's
person.
John Carter.
Carter.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a journey we've been on, trying to remember the name of the character from Saw.
I still don't remember what it is.
And we'll never
Kramer?
know.
John Kramer?
I don't know.
I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to
We don't need to know what his fucking name is.
He's back, and he's sick, as he has been.
Yes.
And then he finds some people, and they're like, oh, we can help you, but the FDA and the government doesn't want us to help you because of Big Pharma. And you can see how it sets that up.
Yes.
And then some bad things happen, and so a good amount of people die. There's some terrible people, and some people come back from old ones.
Sick.
Well, one.
That sounds like what you want from a Saw movie, to be
Yeah,
honest.
honestly, like I said, if you like the Saw franchise, like I think Josh is going to like it.
Yes.
Stephanie will probably like it. You'll probably sit there and go, I can almost guarantee that was a Saw movie.
Yep. All the elements were there. We watched a Saw movie.
The deaths weren't as creative, but how creative can you get after 10?
I sent Josh a joke the other day. Let me find it really quick. The Taylor Swift
I'm
one?
a bitch.
Oh, I'm a bitch. I'm a mother. I'm a child. I'm a lover. I don't actually know if that's the order those things go in. And frankly, I don't care.
Yeah, just like John Kavanaugh.
John Kavanaugh. It was a joke from So Far, So Good, not spelled how you would think, saying, me, I'm sorry, but horror movies do nothing for me. I just don't scare easily. Date. Oh my God, really? But did you ever see Saw? Me, yeah, but as long as it doesn't go too high and you hold on tight, it's fine.
Seesaw.
I think another good joke about the Saw franchise is, I don't know if I just made this up or if I saw this somewhere, but like, how do you feel about the Saw franchise? No, that doesn't work. Never mind. Did you ever see the Saw franchise? Yeah, it's got some ups and downs. There's something there, right?
There's something there. It has some hard edges and not hard edges, or it has its peaks and valleys.
It has its peaks and valleys and like ups and downs because it's a seesaw.
We're so
Thanks.
funny.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
And that's all I have to say about Saw. Thank you for taking us the transition into the next thing. It seems impeccable.
Yeah. I reread. I'm just going to talk about both at once.
Okay.
I reread the rest of the Locked Tomb series by Tamsyn Muir, which is Harrow the Ninth and Nona the Ninth. I was, you know that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme, the Pepe Silva. I haven't even seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I don't know what this refers to, but like it's Charlie Day with like the red that was me reading Harrow the Ninth and Nona the Ninth.
You had a spreadsheet, didn't you?
Well, I did have a little table that was rapidly not disproven, but I saw I had mislabeled some things because Pluto is a dwarf planet and because I wasn't sure if the sun counted. If you know, you know. And I posted in a Discord that I'm in, that I was doing this whole like table trying to understand everything that was going on as it was happening. And somebody else was like, this is me reading. They're like, I'm doing the same thing. And this is me reading it. And it was that screenshot of BuzzFeed Unsolved where the one guy is like, I've connected the dots. And he's like, you haven't connected shit. And he's like, I've connected them. That's literally what it's like reading Harrow and Nona the Ninth. So these are the sequel to Gideon the Ninth. The first one is the one that is hard. It's hard to read. And the reason it's hard to read is because it is told in second person for reasons that become clear about 75 to 80% of the way for the book.
Were you like, what?
I was like, oh, holy shit. Like I had figured some things out. This is the first time I read it. I had figured some things about it out, but I hadn't quite like nailed it. Now, reading it again, I see all of the clues and it's very funny. It's extremely fucking funny the way it's pulled off. But you have to know going into it in order to understand some of the jokes. They're very funny though. But there's the fact that it's told in second person, and then there's the fact that it rewrites the events of the first book in a way that makes you go, hey, what the fuck am I reading? Because it's literally like you're reading a different version of events because you are. And there's a reason for that, but you don't get revealed why that is until 60 to 80% of the way through the book. And this can be a really frustrating reading experience if you don't wholeheartedly put your trust in Tamsyn Muir that it's going to pay off, which is fair in my opinion, but I like anything that takes a risk, right? We know this about me. I love a risk taker.
You'd rather someone shoot for the stars and fail than be safe.
As the saying goes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that saying.
It's true. Find the flaw.
You can't. There's not one to be found. So I was willing to go along for the ride, even though I had a really difficult time reading it. Not because it's bad, just because I didn't know what was happening.
Did that make it more fun for you?
It's hard to say. It certainly made the payoff good because I didn't look up anything about the second book before I read it. And I didn't do that with the third either. The third actually follows, so the second book follows Harrow, who's a character from the first book. She is the reverend daughter of the ninth tomb and the gothiest goth to ever goth, as I referred to her in the last episode, the last time I talked about Gideon. So it follows her, but things are different. It's the best way I could think to put it. The third book follows a different character named Nona, who seems to be a character. Maybe she is a character we've known before, but also maybe she isn't. And that's kind of the mystery of the book, is figuring out who Nona is. And the first two books have had a lot of like characters who are really motivated and who are like trying to do something and accomplish something. And Nona's just like, I'm living my life. I love everybody. Nona is the sweetest character on earth. I love Nona. I would die for Nona. And that's really all that can be said without spoiling a whole bunch of stuff. So rereading these books was a really, really good experience. If you have read them before, a reread is so good. Like, it was really, really good. I was having a lot of fun taking notes and trying to piece things together. There was a couple of things I figured out in advance on my reread, so like it only half counts, that were very exciting to figure out. There's still some things I don't understand. The most important thing to take away here is that I fucking love the villain of this series so much, and I can't say anything about them because it's a spoiler for the second book. This villain is so fucking good. Just in every conceivable sense. They are a rat bastard with a capital R and a capital B, the worst person ever, and also the most likable character, especially in book 2. They're the person that seems to suck the least. But I don't know. This series is so good. It's so much fun. It's not like a lot of things I read because it's very, very heavy on world building and like a lot of complex ideas being thrown around like about this world, which I don't read a lot of. Like, I love fantasy, but I tend to love closer to our world's fantasy. And I tend to struggle when there's a lot of really complex world building like there is in this series. But Tamsyn Muir's writing is so much fun. Like, she's just a fun fucking writer. She's funny. She just like nails this balance of darkness and humor exceptionally well, especially in Nona the Ninth. Again, everything with the cows, if you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. It's just really, really, really well executed. This series is not for everybody. Despite it being something that is commonly marketed as lesbian necromancers in space, that's maybe 1/10 of what's happening in the series. Like, that is not, I don't think that's a good way to sell the book, because you are going to think that you're getting something quite different than you are. What you are getting is a very twisty, turny narrative told from a variety of perspectives about extremely complex stories and characters that you're always on the outside of. Like, you never know more than the characters what's going on. And that is what makes it so fun to me, is to be perpetually on the outside of the story. So I have a blast with this series. If you read the first one and you're like, wow, Gideon is so annoying, it's not going to get better for you, because you're going to,
then it's not for you.
It's simply not for you if you think that Gideon is annoying, which is fair. I fucking love Gideon, and I love how that humor develops throughout the series and expands upon itself, especially because I think it makes these very like inhuman feeling characters feel human in a way we can recognize. But your mileage may vary on that one. But I think this series is great. I hope that someday Electo comes out. I know it's a complicated series. Book publishing is difficult. Currently Electo, the fourth book, does not have a release date, and that's sad and scary to me.
I think I looked it up for you and it said like 2024.
No, it currently says fall 2023.
Oh, I see.
And that window is closing. I don't think it's coming out fall 2023. But I hope it comes out. I'm sure it will come out, but I think times are hard. It's a great series.
Inflation.
Times are hard. It's a great series. It's worth a read if any of that sounds interesting to you. Just know, if you read that first book and you're like, Jesus Christ, Gideon is so annoying, this series may not be for you, and that's okay. And also, don't be swayed by everybody saying it's about lesbian necromancers in space. It's not about that, but it's also not entirely about that. If you're expecting a like swashbuckling romance with lesbians.
It's not what you're getting.
That's not what it is.
I feel like that's such a common issue that people are having, like, with so many books, as like, I feel like it's almost like you want someone to read it so bad that you'll tell them that that's what's in there.
Yeah.
I think this happened a lot with the Poppy Wars.
Yes.
And it's so interesting. Why do that?
Like, don't get me wrong. There are lesbian necromancers in space. But that's not what the book is about.
Yeah. It's not a romance.
It's not a romance. There's romance in it, but
I'm sure you can find a fan fiction.
It's 100%. Yeah. It's a great series though. It's just like, know what you're getting into, and if you don't like it, that's okay. It's okay to not like the darling of the sci-fi fantasy world. I think it's great, but not everybody does.
But you're a snob.
But I'm a snob, and that's why I'm reading one of the most highly acclaimed books of the last 5 years.
No one's really ever heard of it.
Nobody's ever heard of The Locked Tomb.
Nope. Especially those in the book industry.
Yeah, no, nobody knows what it is.
I watched also, because my husband, Expendables 4. So one of the first movies my husband took me, well, the first movie my husband took me to when we started dating was Rambo, which is why our dog's name is Rambo. And then like, I think the second movie he took me to was Expendables 2. Yeah, I cried because I think Liam Hemsworth is in it, and his spoilers for Expendables 2, his girlfriend dies or something, and I just started crying, and I remember him being like, "Are you crying?" Like, it's still sad.
Just because it's the Expendables doesn't mean it's not sad.
So, we were watching it, and I turned to my husband and I go, "You know, it's not my cup of tea, but it's still better than John Wick 4." And he was like offended. He was like, "How is it better?" Like, and granted, he loves Expendables, so like he truly believes it's not as good. I'm like, at least these guys are funny, and the movie isn't 4 fucking hours.
Mary's the John Wick hater.
I am the John Wick hater. If there is one, it is me. If there are 0, I am dead. It wasn't for me. And I didn't like it. But Expendables also really isn't for me, but at least it was funny. I don't know if you know anything about the Expendables, but it's a bunch of dudes who are expendable.
Yeah, is it like real Suicide Squad?
Yeah, they're like special forces who get independently hired, often by the government, to do things that like the army can't legally do.
Okay.
I've read really good romance books about that.
Oh.
This was not that.
I thought you were going to say about the Expendables.
No, but...
What do you think the Expendables fanfic scene is like? I'll look it up while you talk.
You gotta look it up.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
So main guy is Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham still there. Antonio Banderas' character's son is now there and is very funny and just a smooth talker and talks a lot as his previous dad character. There's 50 Cent's in it.
What? Unexpected.
Yeah, it was really funny. There's this moment where 50 Cent's in it and they have to like bomb some people and they play one of his songs as they're doing it. And I was like, that's funny. Megan Fox is in it.
Okay.
She is Megan Fox. She looks good. I mean, her face doesn't move, but she looks good.
There's 418 Expendables fan
What's the
fictions.
top ship? It's gotta be Jason Statham, Christmas and
Barney Ross.
Yeah, Christmas. That's Jason Statham and
followed by Gunnar Jensen and Yin Yang.
I don't know.
Gunnar Jensen and Barney Ross.
I haven't.
It might be Jensen, not Jensen.
I don't know.
Gunnar Jensen or Jensen and original female characters. I'm gonna look up who that is.
Yeah, you look that up. So it starts with a bunch of killing in Libya. And then they're like, this guy's killing
Dolph
people.
Lundgren.
Oh, yeah. I know. Okay. He's funny.
Well, people want to fuck him.
Yeah. It's not fair, but like I can see it. In this one, he's old, right? They're all old. And he has glasses now, but he's a sniper. And they're like, we don't really want the guy with glasses to be our sniper. And he's like, no, my scope is, it's not medical, but it's prescription. And he's really bad at it. It's very funny. And he has terrible hair. So I can see it. It's one of those characters.
Yes.
And then, so they're like, these people are killing people and they're taking these explosives and, let's go get them. And then they go get them. And spoilers, Sylvester Stallone's character, Barry, dies on a plane.
Oh no.
And I'm like, that bitch ain't dead. There's no way. And my husband's like, it's the last one. So he really, I'm like, that bitch ain't dead. Because you know why? Why the fuck didn't he jump out of that burning plane? You telling me he didn't jump out of that plane? Spoilers, I was correct. But yeah, it's then they go back and they're like, oh, it's so sad, Barney's dead. And then they're like, Christmas, you can't come along to help this because you're too connected, blah, 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 blah. And then some more fighting happens and they find Ocelot and a person named Ocelot.
Not just an Ocelot. Ocelots are so cute.
That would have been so cool.
They're so cute.
If in the end the big villain Ocelot was a goddamn ocelot.
I'm gonna look up pictures of ocelots.
Yeah, that's good choice. But yeah, it was fine. If you like my husband said, I asked him, I go, how would you think? He goes, it was good. So I would assume if you like Expendables, it was good.
Oh my god, they're so cute, Merri.
Let's see. That's just what he looked like. The eyes are so big.
God, ocelots are so cute.
That's not what was in the movie. That one looks fierce.
It is fierce. Oh my god.
Look how fierce he is.
Look at the kittens.
The kittens are really cute.
Oh my god.
But then people own them as pets and I feel bad.
No, they shouldn't own them as pets.
Yeah.
But I just want to look at pictures of them because they're so fucking cute.
They are cute. Yeah, so all in all, Expendables, fine.
Beautiful creature.
Wow, it's long. Long neck, long body. Expendables 4 was fine. If you like the Expendables, I'm sure you'll like it. I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't very long. Oh.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting this important conversation about the ocelots. Or about the Expendables
oh my god,
to
that
talk
looks
about
like you.
ocelots. That looks like me.
Yeah. When you're like,
it's an ocelot with like looking surprised with its tongue out.
yeah. That's all I have to say about Expendables and ocelots.
Review of ocelots, 10 out of 10.
Expendables, I'd give it a 6.
Do you want to do another one since A,
Sure.
we watched this together, and B, you have one more than I do?
Yes. We watched North by Northwest.
We made Merri.
Yep, because
Watch.
I hadn't seen it. Would you like to give a summary of it?
Sure. I actually talked about it a while ago when I first watched it, but North by Northwest is a movie about what if some guy got stuck in a conflict between crime people and the CIA. So what happens is the CIA, this is a mild spoiler for the movie. You find it out like pretty quickly, but the CIA has been convincing this crime group that there is an investigator named something on their tail. And the crime group decides that it's this guy, this random dude that they meet. They're like, oh, it's this guy.
It's gotta be that
We've
guy.
caught him. And so it's this case of mistaken identity where these crime dudes are absolutely convinced that this random ass man played by Cary Grant, I can't remember his character's name, unfortunately, but he's played by Cary Grant. This random ass man is the CIA agent on their tail, and he's just like some advertising guy. And then he ends up being framed for the murder of an American diplomat. So he has or some guy that works at the UN. It might not be a diplomat. But anyway, he has like the police on his tail. He's got the crime people on his tail. So he goes on like this cross country, like running away, trying to track down the real guy he's been mistaken for, not knowing that the real guy doesn't exist. So it's literally like, what if some guy got trapped in a James Bond story?
That's like such an accurate. I guess it was before James Bond.
It was, and I thought that James Bond influenced it, but actually it influenced the James Bond films.
Yeah. It was funny. It was really good. I did like the scene where the kid messed up and covered his ears.
Yeah, it has a very famous movie not blooper. What do you call it? It's not an Easter egg. Anyway, somebody messed up. They got there's a scene where a gunshot goes off and this kid in the background like covers his ears before the gunshot because it was loud and they'd already done a few takes, so he knew it was coming. But yeah, North by Northwest is really fun. It's an older movie and the pacing is different from modern movies because with a story like that, you expect a lot of, I think, action set pieces. And it doesn't move like that.
And that made it better.
Yeah, I agree.
For someone who doesn't like action.
Yeah, it moves slower than you would expect from a movie with that kind of plot. And there's a lot more scenes of like sitting around talking than you would expect from a movie where somebody's being pursued by a number of organizations. But when it does, that makes the action moments hit harder. Like, I mean, there's obviously the extremely famous scene with the crop duster, right? Where it swoops down over his head. That's like the iconic North by Northwest scene. But it does make the scenes in which there is like gun violence, hit harder because the guns aren't always out. People are not always shooting at each other. So when there is any of that kind of violence, it's more impactful. A single gunshot carries a lot more weight in a movie like this than it does in a movie like, say, The Expendables, right? Or John Wick.
I will say one of the other women, I think her name was Lash. She had a metal whip, and that was pretty sweet.
That is pretty sweet.
My husband was like, "That's not very
efficient."
Yeah, why wouldn't you have a gun? I was like, "'Cause it's a metal whip."
Because it's sick.
I'm like, I'm sure she had a gun and probably ran out of bullets. She looked cool. I liked it. I thought it was fun and funny, and I just liked what I liked about the character. The main guy was like, he's like, oh no, they've accidentally think I'm this guy. Well, I guess I got to go with it, right? I guess I got to lean in and try and prove I'm not the guy by doing the things the guy does sometimes.
Yeah, it's really, really funny. Like the character is played like super sarcastically. Like he's really sarcastic and like, what you gonna do? Which makes the movie better. He doesn't like discover his latent CIA abilities. He continues to be just a guy through the whole movie. And yeah, it's great. It's like a really wonderful movie. Just know going into it that the pacing is a movie from like 1959. It doesn't follow the rules of a traditional action movie because it's not, right? I mean, it's more of a drama than it is, or a psychological thriller, I guess. Not really psychological. It's more of a thriller or a drama mixed with comedy than it is an action movie, even though the plot would suggest that it's an action movie. I would say it's more along the lines of something like Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, for sure.
Than The Expendables, since we were already talking about it, or even a James Bond film, right? But it's a lot of fun. That Hitchcock sure did know how to make a movie.
I guess he's like good about it or something.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, what a surprise.
I watched Only Lovers Left Alive, which came out in 2013. What the fuck? I thought this movie came out like 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Only Lovers Left Alive is a moody emo vampire film starring Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton. What you need to know is this movie absolutely fucking convinced me that we were robbed of Tom Hiddleston not playing Dream and Sandman. Because you should look up a picture of him in this movie, Merri. He looks like him. That boy can mope. Nobody fucking mopes like long-haired Tom Hiddleston, the vampire. So the movie is about Adam and Eve.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Wow.
He looks just like him. Adam and Eve are married. That's Tom Hiddleston.
Like literal Adam and Eve?
No, that's just their names. They are married, they are vampires, and Adam does not want to be alive anymore. Basically, he's not with it. Eve returns from where she's kind of been living it up in Tangiers, I think, along with Christopher Marlowe, one of the many people said to be actually Shakespeare. She's been living it up with that guy, and they've been having all the good blood and stuff. She comes back to Detroit, where Adam is living, and I think she's like trying to cheer him up or something, and he's not about it. Eventually, shit happens, and things get worse. It's the best way I can think to explain this. This movie's super moody. Like, it's not an action movie. It's one of those movies that people will describe as pretentious, which I think is primarily because it's slow. Like, it's a slow movie about vampires being moody.
Sounds great.
I really, really liked it. I had a good time. The beginning was, I thought, a little too slow. I would have liked things to move a little quicker in the beginning. because the movie really picks up when Eve goes to America to meet up with Adam. And then you have the world's most annoying character played by, I can't remember her name, Mia something from Crimson Peak. She plays the world's most annoying vampire, which shout out to her because wow, that character was annoying. She was supposed to be. Yeah, it was really enjoyable. If you like beautiful people looking weird and sad, this is a good movie. If you like vampires, we were talking about it while watching it, and I compared it to like a very different take on What We Do in the Shadows. Not because it's funny or anything, but because much like What We Do in the Shadows, these are some profoundly uncool vampires. Like, you get the idea that Adam is really cool because he's like a musician and he walks around with his shirt off and he has like scraggly hair and he's tortured or whatever, but like he's really uncool. He makes like, I don't know, noise rock, and then he doesn't want anybody to listen to it. And I don't know, it's kind of darkly funny and weird and melancholy in a way that I really enjoyed. Interview with a Vampire really did a lot to endear vampires to me again. Like, I'm feeling vampires again in 2023.
Sure.
I've also been playing Baldur's Gate, so we have Astarion being like an interesting vampire. So, vampires are in again for me. Werewolves are always in, but vampires are in again. But only ones that are really cool or really uncool. I cannot deal with like, the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
I can't do it. If you're gonna brood, I want to see Tom Hiddleston level brooding, you know? I want to see Louis level brooding.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Pretty Boy brooding.
Yeah.
I want to see deep existential melancholy levels of brooding. I don't want teen girl protagonist. I want no protagonist. I want the worst people imaginable being sad. And that is my media of choice.
You're so weird.
I'm very normal. I'm very normal.
And I'm not pregnant.
What were we watching the other day where a character was like, oh no, it was actually Baldur's Gate. I was playing Baldur's Gate last night and there's a scene, my character was on a date with another character, which was very cute. And my character said something like, this is weird. And the other character was like, no, we're very normal people doing extremely normal things. We're being very normal right now.
That's you.
And that's me every day of my life.
Yeah. I watched the newest, I think it's actually the second part of the newest season of Selling Sunset, which Missy isn't caught up on, so I won't spoil anything.
I'm 2 seasons behind now because they released one season 6 months after the previous season.
It's the second part of the season.
Oh,
though,
I see.
Because I don't remember there being a reunion for the first part, and there was a reunion for this one. So I can't say much about it because Missy still needs to watch it, and there's so much drama that happens. I don't think this is actually as strong as previous seasons.
Well, what are they going to do without Christine?
That's the thing.
I know Christine's not a nice person, but like the show's about Christine.
Yeah, she is replaced by another girl who is just kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. And spoilers, Chriselle kind of turns into the villain.
Oh.
And I will say what I do like about this season is that Amanza gets more airtime, and I love Amanza. I think she's really cool. Does she make the right decision every time? No, but who does?
Who watches this show to watch people make good decisions?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. If you want to see some people make some bad decisions, wait till you find out what the 2 stupid brothers do, the decision they make.
Did they ever sell the house?
Which one?
The big one?
The one... Yes.
They did?
No, there's just a bunch of big ones.
Oh, no, the one
that he was working on, the big...
The weird guy. The guy that thinks his house is worth like $1 billion.
No, I don't think... They didn't, at least.
Okay.
Yeah. Well...
That's the real suspense is, will they ever sell that godforsaken house?
I'm really curious if they did, because something they talked a lot about in this season, which has nothing to do with drama, is a new law going on in California. At a certain date, there's going to be a mansion tax.
Oh.
And so it takes just like a certain percentage of whatever you pay for your mansion.
What's that character's name? That character. She's a real person, but I keep wanting to say Desiree.
No, she's not in it anymore.
what is her name?
The one with the brown hair.
Yeah.
Then
Davina.
Davina's not in it anymore.
Oh.
And she was the one with that house.
Yes.
Yes. She's not in it anymore because she was
It was
boring.
still unsold as of May 2023.
Well, it's definitely not selling now because they're having issues with selling houses. It's not going like it was before. But, you know, the brothers still like, let's expand.
Still unsold as of November 7th.
Oh my God. What's the price on it? Does it say?
$75 million.
They started at 100, so they haven't even gone down that much. And now there's a mansion tax on it. What is wrong with people? People, you know what? This person deserves it.
It is still active as of November 7th. It's still active on their website, but it's still $75 million and is unsold.
Yeah. That person deserves every dollar they're not getting. What's her name isn't in as much because she had her baby. So Heather had her baby. Oh, there's also another new villain, who is, has a child with Nick Cannon. And,
who doesn't these days?
That's basically, that becomes a big plot of who doesn't these days. She's really supposed to be the replacement for Christine, but she also falls short, and you can tell that she's just, I think Christine, while making it up, is making it up because she's not necessarily a good person. Whereas I think this other girl, who I can't remember her name, is making things up to stay on the show.
Mm.
So she was okay. It was fine. It was good. There's more G-Flip in it. And, yeah, I don't know. It's still a good just put it on and turn your brain off show.
Nice.
So, you guys should catch up at some point.
Someday.
One day.
We finally finished our group playthrough of the Quarry.
Where they just dug holes.
Where they just dig really deep holes. No, the
get rocks out.
The Quarry is the second game from Supermassive, who make sort of playable horror films, is the best way I can think to describe it. They also made Until Dawn. The Quarry is sort of a slasher movie. Spoilers, is a supernatural slasher movie. About a group of teenagers who are camp counselors at Hackett's Quarry. And they end up stranded at the quarry after their vehicle is sabotaged, at least in our game, by one of the characters that you can play. And in this game, you play all of the different teenagers, you play different sections of the game with different people. And you control what they do. You make choices. Sometimes you have to react with quick time events or moving the mouse or not doing anything. And that changes the way that the story unfolds and who lives and who dies. This game was much better, in my opinion, than Until Dawn. I had a lot of fun with Until Dawn, but it suffered from the slasher issue of, wow, I don't care if any of these people die. They all suck so bad. Whereas the Quarry, we were desperately trying to keep most of the characters alive because we loved them. Now, can I tell you what their names were? No. I can tell you what some of them were. There was Dylan, our boy, mostly referred to as our boy. We did not like Dylan at first because he was really snarky and he seemed mean. But then it turned out that he's gay and we love him now. It's okay to be snarky and mean if you're gay.
Yes.
There was Detective Pikachu, who is played by the guy in Detective Pikachu, not
Pikachu.
Not Pikachu, the son. Pikachu's son. Sorry for the Detective Pikachu story.
Jr.
Sorry for the Detective Pikachu spoilers. He's played by that guy. Didn't really like him, but desperately needed him to kiss Dylan. So we tried to keep him alive. We did not succeed. Because of one single choice. The guy from Booksmart is there. He's only in the beginning and the end. But he's there. Brenda Song is there. I don't know what the fuck the name of her character was, but she was really important to keep alive. And this game did a much better job of not being offensive than the last one. The last one had some interesting things about Native Americans in there. Pretty goofy. This one had a very questionable line, but otherwise was not as offensive as Until Dawn was. I thought this one was so much better. It was so much fun, especially because we actually were invested in some of the characters. So it wasn't just like, let's see what happens. It was like, we need to keep Brenda Song alive. Nothing bad can happen to Brenda Song. So yeah, we played it by having friends over, and one person would hold the controller and everybody else would shout instructions at them. Which I think is maybe the best way to play it. They actually have a couch co-op mode where one person controls every distinct character. Like, oh, we're playing Dylan now, but now it's Detective Pikachu's turn, so hand the controller to the person who plays Detective Pikachu. No, one person plays everybody and everybody else just shouts at that person. But the Quarry was super fun. If you like horror movies and you're looking for a game to like play as a group, it's not like designed for that, but it was super fun for that. Like, we had a really good time playing it together. We did not get the perfect good ending because this is a slight spoiler. The composition of the group we were playing with has a deep trust for creepy old ladies and werewolves and no trust whatsoever for cops. So we
that seems fine.
We were loaded in a particular direction for a choice that did not play into the best ending.
I wasn't here for the ending.
Oh, you left before
early.
the ending.
I was too tired and pregnant.
Yeah. This is spoilers. I'm just going to tell Merri what happened. So skip forward like 20 seconds. We had a choice to shoot the werewolf, Silas, the major werewolf, or the cop. And
you shot the cop.
We shot the cop. The werewolf was the tarot lady's son.
Oh, I saw the flashback.
Yeah. So we shot the cop, and then the werewolf killed Laura and Detective Pikachu. So everybody else lived except those two.
Okay.
Which was disappointing for us because that meant now Dylan and Detective Pikachu can't kiss.
I mean, they could.
He had like his whole face ripped off.
He can be a ghost. If there's werewolves, there's ghosts.
That's true.
Casper.
She's a ghost.
Yeah.
The witch lady.
Yeah.
She's like a ghost or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, the Quarry was really fun. I definitely recommend it. Probably more as a group activity than as a solo activity, even if it's not designed for that. It was a lot of fun.
Last thing I have is Sex Education. It was good. It wasn't as good as previous seasons. It was really sad.
It was.
I think you said that too. Like, it was really serious and like it was still funny and stuff, but Sex Education does so well at like taking serious things and running humor with them. Yeah. Where it feels like you're really like engaging in a really deep conversation, but it's still funny. But a lot of it was just sad.
I think I said this when I was talking about when I watched it, but like this season really stretched my suspension of disbelief as far as some of the things that were going on.
Yeah.
Specifically with regard to the new school.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that went like unexplored weakened it for me. Like, I still like the season.
Yeah.
But like, why couldn't they have 2 sex therapists?
The sex therapist thing, that whole storyline didn't work. For me, it was the weakest.
Yeah.
The only part that wasn't weak about it is the storyline that intertwined with Ruby.
Yeah.
Because Ruby's the best.
Yes.
I love Ruby so much. And then Maeve's story was really sad. Amy's was good. Everything you said
Amy's
last time.
story was so good.
Amy's story was really good.
Absolutely the strongest of the season.
Everything about she should be the star.
Yeah. The actor fucking nailed it. And just
it's emotional.
Yeah. The way that story developed with like so much sadness, like mixed in with like joy and healing was really so effective. Like so well done.
Yeah.
I loved everything about Amy's story.
Amy's character usually gets just really slam dunk storylines. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad because Amy is my favorite character and deserves everything.
It's true.
And I'm happy for her. I can't remember. Maeve and what's his name? Do they end up together in the end?
No.
Okay, good. I don't like them together. I don't.
Hot take.
I don't. I think Maeve is way too cool for him.
No, that's true.
Way too, like, she's not super mature, but she is more mature than him. But so is my baby. And I just think he's way too insecure to be with her right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. They needed to grow up.
Yeah, they should never have been together. And I think it had more to do with Maeve's insecurities than anything else. I did like, I loved, what's his name? The new Doctor Who.
Eric.
I loved Eric's story.
I did too. It was really weird.
It was really weird, and I really liked that.
It was
I loved
really
how fucking weird it was.
It was super weird. And it was almost like, again, almost stretching the bounds of credibility, but like the school actually did that more for me. The school was weirder to me than whatever the hell was going on with Eric.
I think if you're religious, it might have been less that much.
Yeah.
But I just leaned into the weirdness of it and not necessarily the religious part of it. And then how it intertwined with Cal was really good.
Yeah. I'm so glad Cal really got their own story this season, even if it was really sad.
It was extremely sad, but still like the way that everyone banded together.
Yeah.
So anyways.
And Jackson and his balls. But I was just really happy the way that Jackson showed up for Cal.
When he's like dreaming about falling into a pit of his own balls. So weird.
Yeah.
I feel like they had these storylines that they wanted to do, and they just threw them all into one season.
This season was too short.
It was too short, and there was too much going on. And like they could have slimmed down the storylines, and it would have been still very good.
There were too many new characters.
Yeah.
I really liked what they did with those characters, but there were too many of them for the amount of episodes the season
There
had.
were too many of them for it to be the last season.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Now I can say, now that you've watched it, I can spoil it for everybody else, and I can say what bothered me about Otis's storyline this season, which was that
stupid name.
Huh?
That's his
Otis.
stupid name.
Which
Otis
is
meal.
During the debate when O accuses him of being essentially a men's rights activist because his father is. And that's a shitty thing to do. And O never apologizes for that.
Yeah.
And I was really frustrated with that. I was really, really frustrated that felt then like an okay thing for O to say.
I really did not like O whatsoever. I didn't trust her as far as I could throw her.
I thought she was an interesting character, but the narrative seemed to like her more than I did.
Yeah, agreed.
And there's nothing. I
didn't feel sorry for her.
Yeah. I don't know. I had really mixed feelings about her as a character, but the fact that she didn't apologize for implying to the school that Otis is a men's rights activist or an incel really frustrated me. Like it really did, especially because like the show just kind of let that go. And I was like, no, that's a really damaging thing to say about somebody.
Especially in Otis's position.
Right. And Otis is a lot of things. He's immature. He's kind of a control freak. He could be a dick. But he's not a men's rights activist. That doesn't mean that he's not sometimes misogynistic. But that's different, right? And I felt that the show would have been stronger if they had defined that line and had O say essentially, I'm sorry for lumping you in with somebody like your father, but you are kind of a dick sometimes, especially about gender.
Yes.
Like that's fine. Like there's a world of difference between being a garden variety misogynist and being a men's rights activist.
Yes, agreed.
And I mean men's rights activist in the like red pill sense.
The worst kind of sense.
Yeah, I don't just mean people who are like, you know, we should fix suicide rates in MOPE. Like, I can get behind that cause, you know? But I'm talking about the very, like, damaging...
Close to incel.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That's a really serious accusation to make against somebody. And it really bothered me that the show kind of just let that go because it was, like, a funny dig or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen Otis work to disentangle himself from his father, right? And to just, like, not acknowledge that work really actually did bother me. Yeah. But as we all know, I'm a misogynist, so...
True. So you were personally offended.
So I was personally offended. But yeah, I liked this season. There was a lot I really liked about it. It was definitely the weakest, and it needed at least 2 more episodes, I think, to really make everything work. I did not trust Abby. Her name's Abby, right?
Yes.
I did not trust Abby for the whole season. Especially when she was like, I can't remember all the characters' names, leaving the deaf, hard of hearing girl out of the conversation about Ruby, was it? Or with Ruby.
Something like that. It was really good. I liked that part, though.
Yeah. And I was glad with her that they used her to talk about toxic positivity.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really effective. I really liked everything they did with like ableism in queer spaces.
Yeah.
Again, like I said last time, it was a little corny.
It was,
But
it was still fun.
yeah.
But you expect that type of school to be corny.
Yeah, you do.
So it worked for me. You expect them to be corny. Like when they started clapping or whatever they
I
were
think
doing.
it was the Mean Girls reference that really pushed me over the edge.
There was a Mean Girls reference in Expendables 4.
Oh my God.
And Bob he's like, what? It was like getting losers going shopping. And they
God.
missed a good Taylor Swift reference because he answers the phone. He's like, sorry, so-and-so can't come to the phone now. And I was like, why? Because they're dead. And then my husband was like, all horror movies do that. I'm like, no, there's a very specific way they could have done it. Anyways.
But yeah. It was a good show.
It is a good show. And I'll miss it.
We should stop doing things that aren't done yet.
Yeah, that might be a good moving forward. That might be a good idea.
Forward. Let's do things that have completed, or at least plan a part 2 episode.
Yeah,
it's done.
I suppose.
You have anything else to say?
No, I'm really tired. This baby likes to take everything from me.
That's what babies are for.
Listen, people are not meant to give birth and carry babies. I will die on this hill. There's nothing that's like, there's no part of my body that's built for this. Because it can do it doesn't mean it's built for it. Why am I so tired?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know why I'm so tired, but shouldn't I be strong if I was built for this? Shouldn't I be like a fucking bodybuilder?
Merri should be like hulking out right now.
Nobody better tell me my body's built for this because they're going to have a sit down conversation. Anyways,
Merri's going to get your ass.
I'm so tired. I was so tired.
Were you tired?
This has nothing to do with any of this. The other night I'm having insomnia, which is typical in the 3rd trimester. And I was watching something because for some reason that's now the only way I can fall asleep.
You're turning into your mother.
Yeah, I know. I was slowly falling asleep and I was like at the point where I was just about to fall asleep. So I'm like, Alexa, turn the TV off. And right as I have my husband barged into the room because he stays up late because he works nights and like wakes me up and I'm like, I'm falling asleep. Like, shut the fuck up. And then I'm like, Alexa, turn the TV on. I go to say that and my husband goes, blah, blah, blah. And I got so mad. I'm like, stop. And he did it again. And I have never wanted to throw my husband out of the house more in my life. I was so mad.
Oh my God.
I was just like, put your head in the toilet and let me flush it because I'm so mad at you right now. Pregnancy makes me angry.
She got the baby ring.
I feel like it's fair.
Yeah.
If Josh did that to you, you'd want to give him
I'd bite him.
You put him in the toilet too.
I'd bite him.
Yeah. He was too far for me to bite.
That's it for this episode. You can find us online at fakegeekgirlscast.com, which has not all of our previous episodes. Some
Many.
are missing. I'm working on that now. If you are looking for a particular episode, especially post like 2016 or so, they are all available for free on our Patreon. So if you are having trouble finding a given episode, you can look there. I am working on uploading all of the missing episodes. Basically what happened is we moved the website, but the old links stayed up. And when that happened, the links broke. And now I have to fix all of them, which is fine. There are a handful of episodes that are straight up missing. Like I don't have the files for them, but I should be able to get them off of Patreon. So if you are looking for a missing episode, go to Patreon. If it's one of our earliest episodes, it isn't up yet. I will get it up. I promise. Sorry.
You should be.
I am. Thank you to Emily June for helping with our transcriptions. If you like this episode, consider sending us some money on Patreon. Small donation gets you access to our bonus material, which there's like 15 minutes so far. I've cut out of the Barbie episode and most of it's Merri. Sorry, Merri.
Well, I had a lot to say.
It's mostly like the side stuff, like our conversation about bimbos or some stuff about Taylor Swift. It was just some stuff that like, it wasn't irrelevant.
She just hates me.
I just hate Merri. It wasn't irrelevant. It just wasn't, it was adding to the existing conversation in a way that was interesting, but the episode is so fucking long, that something had to go. Anyway, you can get bonus episodes for more. You can get like a postcard in the mail, access to these playlists we make, or you can even commission us to do an episode for $50 a month. Not a month, it's $50, and that gets you a commissioned episode. Next time we're going to be talking about Ken. This episode outline slaps so far. It's going to be really good. So far, it's mostly not about Ken. It's about patriarchy. And where it comes from.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be surprising literally anyone.
Yeah. After that, we are going to be taking January off from recording, which means it will be February that doesn't have episodes. And Merri is due to give birth in January.
Birthing a baby.
So this is what we have decided. I'm going to do some guest episodes, as in I'm going to have some other people come on and do episodes with me. And Merri may or may not make an appearance on those episodes, depending on her energy level and how much time she has, because she will have had a baby.
I don't know how having a baby works, so I could be fine and I could not be fine.
Yeah, we simply don't know. So the plan now is that we will return in March, we being me and some guest hosts and maybe Merri. As long as Merri has the energy, we will continue to do what we've been up to with me and Merri. Mm-hmm. It just, everything kind of depends on having this baby and what the baby needs and what Merri needs.
The nuisance of this baby.
And we just simply don't know. So the plan now is that I will do probably at least 3 guest episodes. And we will go from there. Merri may or may not appear on the guest episode, so she can have some time to care for herself and her baby, because it's a whole baby. It's a whole baby, and it does a lot to your body.
Let me tell you.
I don't need to know anymore, actually.
I've told Missy so many things where Missy's not having kids, right? Like, there's nothing that would have convinced her. But now...
You could offer me $1 billion to have a child, and I wouldn't do it.
Now I think she'd let everybody in her life die first.
Not the cats, though.
Not the cats. But even then, she'd think about it. There's no part of this that Missy would ever be okay with.
No, it's so scary. So that's what's going on. If you can always subscribe to our newsletter. It's on our website, where I will post actual updates about what we're going to be doing and with whom and so on and so forth. But after the Ken episode, we will be taking a month off. Which
we typically do in July.
We usually do it in December.
I didn't mean July. I mean December.
So we're just going to do it in January.
Shouldn't be super.
Yeah. We're just going to do it in January instead of in December this year, because that's when Merri's due. And then when it comes back, it'll just be a little bit different, because I will be planning episodes with guest hosts rather than with Merri.
Yeah.
Merri
may even be better than me. You might be like, fuck, keep her out of here.
Yeah, have another one, Merri, so I don't have to podcast with you.
Yeah, I'll have another if someone wants to pay for it. Do you know how expensive this shit is? Jesus Christ, no wonder people aren't having children.
Yeah. So that's it.
So many opinions. Yeah, catch you on the flip side with the baby.